Okay, today I made a video that shows how to test with nitrogen your hoses and your valve core removal tools and any kind of fittings you have. You have on and off valves on hoses, all different kinds of things you have as part of your system that you're going to test the mini split line set with. You want to test everything with pressure too, so you'll test it that way. Like I'm showing you in a little pail of water. And then you can test it before you do your test, and you'll know for sure that those hold pressure. Yesterday I showed you a video on how to clean your micron gauge and then how to final clean it with your vacuum pump. So after you did your normal cleaning that I show you in the video, take your vacuum pump and run it through there. Well, not only does it clean your micron gauge, but it also tests it, and it shows how low it'll go. It also shows how low your pump will go. Okay, so you can easily take that same test I did for that and put on a hose onto that, onto your pump, and then stick a valve core removal tool on there, and your micron gauge on top of that. You can test that all without your system involved. That way you'll know what your system, your tools are capable of. Then you hook it to your system and you know exactly what's going on. A lot of times we hook it there, we can't figure out what's going on. One thing leads to another. So if you'll do a few minutes of testing, whether pressure testing or vacuuming on your tools, then when you go to apply them onto your mini split line set, you'll be way ahead of the game. You'll already know what works or doesn't work. If it doesn't work, you go, you don't bother hooking it to your system. There's a problem with the hose leaks. I just found out one of my half-inch hoses, I just bought it $65 on Amazon, had a leak. I put it in there, sure enough, leaking like a seal. I couldn't figure out why I wasn't pulling a vacuum. What's wrong with this thing, So I took it apart, put it in. That made me think, I better go test a lot of my tools. So I went in and tested a whole bunch of stuff. But a brand new $65 hose wasn't worth a nickel. There was no way to repair it. It had a mechanical connections on it that had to be done at a factory or something. Anyway, nothing I could do to repair it. I had to send it back. But the point is, that's what I'm saying. You can't trust anything. So test everything and watch the videos. You'll figure it out. If you have any questions, put them down below. Okay, it's a good idea to occasionally test your tools. Perhaps even when you got nitrogen for the first time. Perhaps you want to utilize that up. So test your tools just by simply turning it on and then putting it in close to 500 pounds or so. Most hoses that you're testing are good for it says 4,000 psi burst or 800 psi max working pressure. So putting it at 500 pounds or so is perfectly fine. And then going down and testing it in a bucket of water. So if you'll just put all your equipment in there, whatever can go in water and under pressure. So I have 2 valve cores in there right now, 2 valve core removal tools, and I have a on and off valve, and I got the hose that I was using. So, so that way you can just check and see that there's nothing leaking. Okay, if it was leaking, you'd know for sure. So now you know if it's your tools or not. So whatever tools you're going to use, go ahead and put them in there and find out if they're leaking. And if there's nothing leaking, then it must be your equipment. FYI, I'm testing this right now because I test all my stuff each time whenever I get new stuff. And I just got these 2 new valve core removal tools, both around $20 each. And I checked them out, just make sure they're going to hold pressure. And then I'll test them on I'll do a quick install and see how they do under pump pressure too. So we got vacuuming pressure to test, and then we have pressure test to test. So that's how we do it. I just love it when nothing's leaking. That way you just knock something else off your list. You can go on to something else and figure out what else is the problem. If your tools aren't leaking, you got to figure out what is leaking. I love this stuff.